Hello, this is the voice of Shyla Pacheco Hamilton. I'm an assistant professor of the first year course studio program, chair of critical ethnic studies, and a member of the Decolonial School. The Decolonial School is an interdisciplinary group of CCA faculty working on building a new curricular model for art and design education that foregrounds Indigenous practices and acknowledges decolonization as a continuous process. In this video, we will be talking about how to cultivate community care and a sense of belonging for students. In our classes, we strive to promote a sense of hope, security, joy, and curiosity. We want to cultivate excitement about our material and recognize one another's voices. We will offer tools to shift our attention from solely delivering content to creating a vibrant learning community online. What I'm sharing are a few things I learned while teaching this summer for the first time in a virtual environment. Cultivating community care and a sense of belonging is like growing a garden. The soil must adapt to the seeds must adapt to the environment as a whole, and there needs to be consistent attention to managing growth and producing a successful harvest. Community building is a shared process. Strive to build a classroom where students feel that their contribution and ideas are equally valued and respected. We all have different styles and ways of building a liveliness and trust in the classroom. We build a sense of care and belonging between people when we consciously address how we will engage with one another on the first day of classes through community agreements. This can include listening with raw openness, understanding our educations are all biased, and understanding how we will address issues of equity, racism, and inclusion. These can all be outlined in your community agreements. The Decolonial School has made a separate video on community and shared agreements, and we hope that you'll check it out. Our syllabi and lectures should reflect an interconnected global community of scholars, designers, and artists that are culturally diverse and typically underrepresented. This helps students see themselves in the curriculum and bring their lived experiences into the course. There are many ways we can connect with students in a synchronous manner to create a sense of belonging. First, always encourage students to change their Zoom profile to their preferred name and pronouns. You can set the stage for your class as well. Send a questionnaire to students before the class begins. This helps us to understand student backgrounds and how we can use their lived experience and knowledge to understand how they retain information. We can also get information about the time zone in which they live, the languages they speak, their workspaces, and their level of responsibilities outside of class. Feel free to play music or videos as the students enter the virtual classroom space. This helps to break the ice when people are getting set up with their audio and video. Your investment in a virtual classroom is time and energy. You should strive to build community that will last beyond class. During check-ins, you can open with a question, and at the close of class, you can end with an affirmation or statement of appreciation. Sample questions could be, what is your most treasured memory? What challenged you today? Or identify something in the room where you are located that you find beautiful. How does that make you feel? During your virtual class, pay attention to body language, facial expressions, and encourage self-care breaks. Remind students to attend to their own needs, like getting water and stretching. Those are all crucial to student participation and feeling cared for in a virtual environment. Students can even lead class in a sequence of stretches or a short workout. Make your listening visible by asking genuine open questions. You can let the conversation wander. You can repeat what you think you heard a student say, and you can let the silence play out. I know that's a hard one, but trust me, it works. Be receptive to what is emerging in your discussions and what was coming up in that moment in a different way. Think about the technology we use as a tool, but most importantly as having a purpose. Randomize your break sessions, but plan in advance the order for presentations or sharing, and put that info in the Zoom chat. That way everyone knows what to expect and the class can continue to listen without judgment. You can integrate embodied activities. So implement throughout your synchronous session embodied activities and align them with breaks. One example is ask a student to come to class with a glass of water, and they have to take a sip during their check-in question. You can also conduct breathing exercises like the one above. For your asynchronous material, please over-communicate. The professor's perception is often very different from the student experience. Make a communication plan. When will you reach out to students individually? Do not underestimate the power of encouragement emailed to students to build and sustain relationships. Students want engagement with one another and with their professors. Don't forget, the virtual classroom is an open border space. You can engage the global community in your virtual classroom by attending live events together or asking students to discuss course material through the eyes of their community. Be identity conscious. All of our students are not the same and have vastly different experiences. Incorporate that rich knowledge into the course. Feel free to organize students according to time zone or according to interest. So, for example, dog people, cat people, reptile people, sewing people, and enable them to work in small groups for readings or for studio time. A very important question to ask yourself: are you teaching or are you policing? Mandating cameras be on, grading student eye tracking, or asking students to slant. SLANT is an acronym for sit up straight, lean your body towards the speaker, ask and answer questions, nod your head yes or no, track speakers with your eyes. All of those are harmful to the learning environment and antithetical to building a safe virtual community. Do a self-check as you build your syllabus and form your expectations. Are you inviting students to opt in or forcing an uncomfortable power dynamic through opt out? Why do you feel the need for control? Is it pandemic related? Are we projecting our own lack of control about schools reopening or the pandemic onto student bodies? What would happen if we created a few boundaries for synchronous teaching time and did not set up a host of stringent criteria for students to adhere to? Are we deficit framing students by assuming they need these rules? If we were in the student's shoes, would we be able to follow these guidelines ourselves? You can also extend your classroom outside of Moodle. As I mentioned before, attend live and virtual events as a class, use Slack or social media platforms like TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram to keep the conversations going. Don't forget to integrate larger CCA initiatives and resources by linking to CCA pages to your class social media pages. We're still in the midst of a global pandemic, environmental stressors, and political upheaval. Do not forget there are a range of things that students may be dealing with. Pay attention to the trauma experiences that students are exhibiting. They may be grappling with housing, food, or economic insecurity. Be aware of variation in students' capacity to manage remote learning environments and how the current situation is impacting different communities. The first step in intervening with the student who is exhibiting a trauma response is to interrogate yourself. After you do this, you can be proactive about supporting students who may need extra attention. Relationships and well-being take precedent over assignments and deadlines. When it comes to access for technology, internet connections may vary, and some students may be logging in from their phone or may not have a proper workspace. If a student leaves before class is over without telling you or letting the class know, follow up with them and check in. Do not be shy to address microaggressions in the classroom. Pay close attention to discussion boards, chats, social media, and other places where students interact. Be transparent, be responsive, be flexible, and open. You may have to adjust your course material a few weeks into the semester. Don't be afraid to discuss what is happening in the world and how artists, writers, and designers and architects are responding. Thank you for hanging in there for my presentation. If you are interested in learning more about Decolonial School, have questions, or want to get involved, feel free to email Decolonial School or find us on Portal. Have a great semester.